¿Qué onda? And welcome back to the channel. My name is David. Today we're back with another rainy day POV street photography video. Try saying that fast 5 times. Also, we're about 2 weeks out before the end of the year, so I actually recently posted my, I guess, like YouTube statistics that YouTube sends an email out, and I actually had a pretty good year, like a lot better than I thought. So thank you guys first and foremost for watching my videos and hearing me ramble about stuff. And my most watched video right now is the RF 24-70 review I did about 2 years and some change ago. And in retrospect, it wasn't really my best review because I've never been a huge fan of like reviews because it's like they're very subjective. But I guess the reason that one did so well was because it was just short and sweet and to the point. There wasn't like any charts or anything I was shooting because I don't understand the whole chart thing. Like I understand why they do it because people are super like they're super technical about like, you know, sharpness and all that. But like, I mean, if you buy a lens, you could tell right away if it's like sharp or not, like by using it. And you know, sometimes you don't necessarily need to shoot like say wide open like at 2.8. You could get away with shooting something like at 5.6. Like I'm actually gonna be shooting a debutante ball next week with a couple of my mentors and like 6 other photographers, because it's gonna be a lot of people that we're gonna photograph. But we're gonna have flash on camera. We're gonna shoot around 5.6, 6.3 because we want to get as much depth of field in our shot. Because we're going to be photographing large groups and, you know, 1 to 2 people at a time, or like people dancing. So we want to make sure that everyone is more or less in focus. You know, so that's one instance where you don't necessarily need to get a fast aperture lens like a 2.8. You can get away with something like an f4 because, again, you have flash on camera. So yeah, but going back to the whole review thing, I'm not a huge fan of it because, like I said, it's very subjective. Sometimes these reviewers get a couple hours or maybe a few days with the camera or lens, and you know, they kind of say like, hey, this is a good camera because XYZ, or it's a bad camera or lens because XYZ. And it's like, dude, you haven't used it in like a professional environment. And I mean, there's a handful of reviewers that actually go out and like shoot in professional environments and actually give you a really like solid breakdown or opinion on what the lens is like or the camera's like. But I feel like most reviews are just like, hey, I got this and this is what I'm going to talk about and this is why I like it and here's why. Which is why I always encourage people to go out, rent the camera or lens that you're curious about, or go demo it at your local camera store. That way you could form your own opinions based off of your needs and the kind of environment that you might be shooting. Because, you know, you might shoot portraits, so you might not necessarily need something like a 24 millimeter, just throwing it out there, like for a wide angle or something like that, or, you know, a particular zoom lens, because your needs are going to be very different than my needs, and so on and so forth. So yeah, so that's kind of like where I stand with reviews, but still think it's crazy that that's my most watched video. I actually met my friend Manny thanks to that video, because he reached out to me after, I think he had watched it, or he had already. So he watched the review, and then I think he ordered the lens, and then he messaged me on Instagram because asking me some information on it. So I FaceTimed him, and you know, we just started talking afterwards. And then I think after he had gotten the lens, we went to downtown LA. It was me, him, and Adrian to shoot some street photography. That was about a little over a year ago, actually. Yeah, it feels like weird to say that it's been about a year since I've been friends with these people, aside from my friend Peter, because I went to high school with him, so I've known him for way longer than anybody in the group, and Adrian because I've known him for about 3 years. But like Neto, Manny, and Jaden, I all met last year, and it's just crazy to think that it feels like I've known them for way longer than a year. You know, because just we're that close, we just clicked. And I think it's so cool when you can meet people like that online that you just vibe with and you just connect and click with, and then you just form a little friend group of photographer friends that you go out and do stuff with. So it's really cool to to think that that video was the video that opened up this opportunity to become friends with Manny, because again, he reached out to me on Instagram and asked me a bunch of questions on the lens. So it's kind of cool. That's why, like, as soon as I saw that, like, I tagged him in the message, and I'm like, hey, it's the video that you messaged me over. That's the most popular. So yeah, so you never know, you know, if somebody messages you or something like that, you never know, like, what to expect. Most of the time on Instagram, when I get DMs, I get a lot of spammy stuff, or like, hey, you know, do you want us to promote your page? You know, it's this much for blah, blah, blah. Or sometimes people say, like, hey, give me a free camera. I'm like, no, I'm not that rich. I wish I was. I'd give everybody a free camera. But, you know, when Manny messaged me, he was just to the point, like, hey, I have a question. This is the question. And, you know, so I just gave him a direct answer, and the rest is history. But yeah, you know, I'm happy that I finally got a video out, because I feel like the last couple weeks I've just been so busy with work, and I haven't really done a lot of freelance this month, because things are kind of slowing down, because it's obviously the end of the year, and a lot of the clients that I've worked with, you know, they're already on their holiday vacations, and you know, some of the companies are probably already like figuring out budget for next year and so forth. So it's all good. But I'm just happy to be back out on the street shooting another POV video. I don't know if this is going to be my last video for the year. I'm going to try to do one more before the end of the year. Maybe I'll do something like a little talking head video, like very podcast style. And maybe I could go back and talk about some of my favorite videos I shot this year. Actually, that's a good idea. And then, you know, call it a year, and then start off 2022 strong, and saving. So I guess some of my goals, since we're here and we're talking about next year, some of my goals for next year is to continue exercising, because I've been able to keep off the 25 pounds I lost over the course of 2020. A little fluctuations here and there, but for the most part, you know, my pant size is still the same. The belly is still there, but, you know, that's the last thing to go, because I really don't do a lot of high intensity stuff, and I get bored of lifting weights. I feel like a hamster on a wheel, which is why I like walking a lot, or running. But I feel like I don't do it enough to be at a caloric deficit to, you know, start losing some of that belly fat. But, you know, again, I take it a day at a time. So that's one goal. Next goal is to continue just saving money, and invest some of that money. That way I have money for emergencies, and then I have money going in to, you know, whatever investments I make. Also, anything I say about money is not financial advice. So, you know, that's my disclaimer for this video. And just continue pushing forward and trying to book more gigs, especially more video-centric gigs, because I feel like that's where I've been kind of like slowly gravitating towards this past year. I did a lot more video freelance gigs than photography freelance. And I actually recently updated my website, so I only focus for photography stuff, only product photography, and, you know, anything in that realm. So like watches, coffee, knives, and so on and so forth. And then like just video, because I got a lot of video gigs this year. I mean, it basically helped me pay for that C70 I bought, which just opened up a lot of doors for me. So, you know, it's just one of those things where, yeah, it's just like I'm excited for next year, and I'm hoping that things in the world start to get a little bit better. Because, you know, I think that's what we all want at the end of the day. We want some sense of normalcy again, you know, and kind of go back to how things used to be, but not really. Obviously, with some more precautions. But yeah, you know, I think it's just one of those things where, you know, I'm really excited for next year and see what kind of adventures it takes me on, people I connect with, and so on and so forth. Also, because we're in Pasadena, they finally said that they're going to do the Rose Parade this year. So if you guys don't know, for those of you that are out of the country, Every year in Pasadena, they have the Tournament of Roses parade, and it's a huge parade that happens on January 1st. And the streets that basically the entire portion of this video where I was walking, which was on Colorado Boulevard, that is the main street that the parade happens on. So that's going to be happening. And the cool thing about it is all the floats are made out of flowers or roses or a mixture of different flowers. And, people just get super creative, and it's just so cool to see the community come out and watch it. And then people just come out from around the country to see it in person. They let people camp overnight the day before, and then in certain areas of the city you could actually buy like tickets to go sit on like some bleacher seats, so you could actually get a nicer view. So yeah, so it's super exciting to see that happening this coming year, because last year they didn't have it because the state of the world was in. But like I said, things are getting better little by little. And with that said, this is my final shot of the video. I love this shot. Just everything about it encapsulates my love for rainy day POV street photography videos. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you guys liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, double tap the thumbs down button twice. Trust me, it works. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And hasta luego. I just gotta say hasta luego. It's consistent with my Spanish intro. So maybe I'll do one more video with Be Badass, just for old time's sake. Actually, that'll probably be the last video of the year. So thanks again, guys. I'll see you soon. Hasta luego.